This conference will now be recorded.
So welcome to day 4 of our US payroll session. So we'll be today covering the text reporting part. So till now we have seen what are the different yesterday's sessions. We have seen what are the different info types available in in your US payroll, and what are the different steps, 8 steps, different steps. We have seen how the tax year and adjustment to be covered. To summarize that, we have covered those things. And today we'll be more going into details of the tax reporting part. So before that, as a part of Knowledge Byte, yesterday you have asked one question, if you remember, that is
Yes.
regarding the configuration of check for code. Sorry, this is your pay component and waste type configuration check, right?
Yes.
That is the step number 7, and somehow this got missed
Okay.
during our ECP session. Sorry for that, and I acknowledge that. And actually, it is the check tool,
Okay.
which is already available in your success factor. Okay,
Yep.
there is similar check tool already we have in our on-premise. Okay, that today I'll be going to show towards the end of the session. In the demo session, I'll be showing you where exactly it is. But actually, this is a new one, means that was not very old. So in any other SAP GUI, you will not be finding the latest one. You will be finding latest for last 1 year or 2 year, whatever. So you'll be looking like this. So inside, it will be not inside your payroll. Rather, you will be finding out your personal management. So for that reason, I missed it. Okay. So it is under personal management. Under personal management, if you go, there is a setting called integration setting for SuccessFactors Employee Central Payroll. Okay. Inside that, there is something called check tool. Okay. So this check tool, what it does, so there are actually different configuration checkpoints, like configuration check for value properties. There are the pay component wise, pay type wise, waste type configuration check. If you execute one of these, any of these node, okay, actually it is not available for the end user, rather for the consultant. Okay, so here it will be looking like this. The output will be looking like this, where exactly you will be finding the column A. Column A, the first column, if you see, they are called external code or the pay component. So the data actually which I have taken from my test environment, it was not having the pay component text. So for that reason, you will be finding the column B. Second column is pay component text, all are blank. Okay, but ideally it should be both are filled. Okay, like if it is a basic, it should be mentioned the pay component. Pay component text means that is coming from your employee central. Okay, so those employee central pay, those details will be there, and corresponding waste type you will be finding in the yellow color column. Okay, so mostly the waste type 1000, 1003, these are actually the custom waste type which we have created. Okay,
is that from ECP? Would that be from ECP or from on-premise?
These waste types,
yeah,
these waste types are in your ECP. ECP is nothing but your on-premise only, right? So in the on-premise only, you have configured all these waste types. Okay, and the corresponding pay component, it should be visible in this first or second column. Okay, and if it is something is means actually it is not a configuration check, rather it will summarize. Okay, the pay. So for that reason, it is called pay component waste type configuration check. In a single field, you will be finding. Also, there are many columns you will be seeing which waste type will be permissible under which info type. Okay, so there are a couple of columns you will be seeing, flag X flag you will be seeing IT8, IT15, IT267. So these are actually different info types. Info type 8 permitted, info type 14 permitted. So this is then actually, instead of going through all the configuration, individual configuration of those info types, this is a one-stop report, you can say, where exactly you can identify is there any mismatch or as per your client expectations and all. So this is a great tool to, it's just a report only, I will say. It's not a tool, rather it's a report where exactly you can identify everything, like is there any, but it will not as user friendly as your check tool inside your success factor, but it's just a report which will say this is how you have configured in your system, which waste type has been mapped.
So let me understand the scenario properly. The scenario is it that, okay, we have already success factors already implemented. Now we are trying to implement ECP, which is already bolted to, first of all, it's already, ECP is already integrated with EC.
Yes.
And the engine, of course, for the ECP is the on-premise payroll.
Yes.
So is this step taken into assuming that those steps have already taken place?
Yes. So basically, once your configuration is completed in your on-premise or your integration is completed, so this is one of the tool just to before we go live. It will be for you, boss. This is a configuration you have done. If anything is deviating from your expectations, just verify it.
Yes.
So in fact, in my past project, I never knew this. There is something called like this, but we didn't have any issue. But this is a great tool for consultants or the people who are supporting. Okay, so to just verify, instead of suppose there is any mismatch in your configuration and some production issue came, instead of going through all the 20-30 tables, rather you will come here in a single execution button. You download this and you just verify your whatever you have configured, that configuration check, you can find it out. And is there any issue, that then directly you can go to respective configuration instead of searching through all the 20-30 tables, 20-30 nodes. You don't have to. In a single point you can come here and you can verify. So this is a great tool. Which
you know those statuses for checking on the spot, which is which I've forgotten the statuses now, which is it I've forgotten I think there are three, something about failed or successful or
in process status.
Exactly. So I can't remember the three phases for this particular report to show which phase, what is the status of each of the wage types. In other words,
you mean to say it is an on-premise report?
I'm trying to. There's so many of them in my head now, but I'm trying to.
No problem. You take your time and just let me know which one you are talking about, because I'm not able to.
Okay.
But this is actually your 17, step number 17 is this much only. So you have to, I will be adding this in the next edition of my all-in-one book. Somehow it got missed. And this is actually the simple, it is just similar to check tool. You have to just execute and you identify if any error. So now we'll be coming to our main topic, that is our tax reporting for US payroll. And from a US payroll perspective, we have a single transaction code for, because in the text reporter itself a very huge topic in the SAP world. Okay, so there are a lot of reports, lot of tax reports available, whether it is a federal or a local or state related. So even I have not worked on all tax reports in the US. Okay, mostly the basic one, which are most frequently used, I have worked on that. But again, depending upon your tax, local, state, and all, so you'll be getting in. But the interface is very easy to understand. That is your transaction PU19. Okay, that is the PU19. That is very easy to understand. So, have you ever used PU19 before for any other country?
No, I haven't. That's what I'm trying to. The tax report. What exactly is this?
Yeah. So basically, it is a tax reporter, means so all kind of tax filing or tax reporting, all kind of any change in data of it related to tax. Okay, it's not after once your year end is completed, like year end, all this tax process, or it can be there are not only for year end, rather I will say there are some reports which are quarterly also, monthly, periodical. Okay, so it is not always yearly transaction. So there is a great tool which is a PU19. I will definitely show you. Yesterday, luckily, I received that SAP GUI access. Okay, and yesterday I was just trying to execute this. But today I'll be showing you in the system itself how this transaction looks like and what are the different opportunities there. Okay, so in this transaction, we'll be running through. I will be taking you through a couple of major, most frequently used reports. Okay, so that we'll be seeing in this transaction PU19. Okay.
Yes.
So one of the tax, and also this tax reporter can be run in two mode. One is a test mode or it is in a production mode. So test mode, you can just, it will be like similar to simulation run, and production mode means it will do the final changes in your database and all.
Okay.
So we'll be seeing a couple of, this is the screenshot how I have taken, how it looks like. Okay, so anyway, I'll be showing the system. When you say in the left hand side, there are, this is actually transaction code PU19. Okay, in the PU19 transaction code, you will be finding there are different categories of tax forms. In the left hand side, you can see it can be quarterly or it can be annual. Okay, under quarterly again, we have two types. So those are the basic forms like form 941, 94 waste reporting, multiple worksite reports. Okay, similarly for any correction related thing. Okay, so there is different categories of report like quarterly correction. Suppose it may happen like you'll be doing some mistake or the employee has put some wrong values in the data. Okay, so you may have to correct those. Okay, so this is actually interface. It will be helpful, and it is a one-stop solution or one-stop for all of your tax form, whether it's a quarterly or it's an annual. Similarly, annual categories also you'll be finding different types of reports. Okay, different types of forms rather, and annual correction also you have similar. Any correction is happening. Okay, and in the right-hand side, if you see, you have to choose your tax company. Okay, so which tax company you are using and what is the period end date. Suppose it is a mid-year. So I'm just putting is the 31st of, ideally it should be June, 31st of May. I have this for your reference. This is for representation purpose only. I put it. Otherwise, I will put the exact date. And there are two types of run you will be finding, like production run and the test run. So initially you will be executing the test run. Then you will be running, if it is fine, then you will be running the production run. Okay. So third one is a generation or filing date. So that we will be seeing how it will look like. Okay. And form field definition is what are the fields available for that particular reports. Okay. We'll be going into detail of that.
Okay.
So
form. Okay. Will you go through the details of form 940 and 941 later, maybe?
Yeah. I will be actually taking you through the document which I have already downloaded, the latest one, the payroll reporting, because these things are very dynamic, Andy. This is every time
they change always.
Every time you go, you will be finding something new. At least something new will be finding. So this is around 92 pages of tax reporting itself. But what I will do, it is not possible to show each and every report. I will take you through 3 or 4. Then I will suggest you go through the remaining one. This is more or less the same. Okay. And the concept, the mechanism, the architecture, integration, so everything remains the same. The only thing is the report name is different, and it will be specific to some state or some other purpose. Okay, but all the major report I will be taking you through. Okay, don't worry.
Okay. So will you be able to send me some of these documents?
Yes. I'll be sending you through all these documents, whatever we are discussing. Okay. So, yeah.
Sure.
Definitely I'll send.
Thank you.
Next, let me go to the text reporting part. So whenever you are discussing the concept of text reporting, the first things which comes to our mind, that is the preparation. So for any kind of reporting preparation, so you have to prepare yourself, what are the different checklists. Okay, as a payroll consultant, you have to, suppose client may ask, what are the different things I have to do? Suppose he is very new, okay, to SAP payroll, or so what are the things you have to do? Okay, so these are the different checklists which I have prepared. Like you have to understand the concept of TUB. TUB is, what is the TUB? TUB is actually the tax update bulletin. Okay, so that is called a TUB.
In all the jobs that I've seen being advertised, this is always one of the first items they request. You must know how to apply TUBs.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll be going more detail. The TUB and BSI, I'll be going, and there's a separate session for that. But from a tax reporter point of view, actually, TUB is nothing but actually it is the changes, whatever the changes, legal changes has SAP or your authority, tax authorities come up. Okay, so those they release it. They call it the tax update bulletin. Okay, this is a very what you say, the same concept, but sophisticated name they have given, tax update bulletins. They call it. Okay, tax update bulletin for BSI, and we have to always follow the latest support pack. Okay, because at present BSI also has a different version. When I was doing it was 7th or 9th, 8th edition when long back. But now today is BSI is version 11, okay, 11.0. 11.0. BSI 11.0 is the latest one. Okay, that will be going into detail whenever we will be discussing BSI. But for your understanding, BSI 11.0 to work, there are certain preconditions. Though there are some support pack for SAP, you must upgrade your system, okay, to a particular level. Otherwise, system will not support those changes and all. Okay, so you have to be. I'll be discussing those details into whenever we'll be discussing BSI. But you have to understand before we start your preparation for your tax reporting, these are the different checklist SAP recommends. You must be there in your system. Okay? First to suffice you. The second one is completing all payroll run in case of final year-end run. Okay. So what is the meaning of it? So you must have run all of your production payroll. Suppose you are doing a month of January or February, you have to ensure there should be no lag till December 2019. You must have completed all the production payroll run in accurately. Okay, and that is second one. Third one is clearing claims. Okay, if there's any claim is generated in your system and all, that you should be cleared completely before you start the reporting. That is the third point you have to understand.
Will you know what those claims mean? My understanding of that, what do you know? What are these claims? Are they like account payables or account receivables? I don't know. Do you know what they mean? The claims.
The claims part, actually, I'll be explaining in there is a one session. Means towards the end, I'll be explaining when there is a topic for miscellaneous topic. I kept it under that, so I've already planned it. So claim means, suppose what happens, employee, your current, suppose say your for this particular month you should be paid say 10,000 US dollar. Okay, but your debt and other things, okay, so or garnishment something somehow that is coming around 12,000 US dollar. Okay, so in that case 2,000 should be received from the employee.
Yes.
Okay, 2,000 US dollar. Okay, so that should be claimed from the employee. As an employer, you should claim that 2,000 employee. So you should clear that claim before we run the payroll. Okay, so that is one simple example of claim, but there can be multiple reasons. Okay, that we'll be discussing more into detail. But for now, you have to understand. Suppose you should be paid 10,000 US dollar for a particular month, but your debt and all that comes around 12,000 or 13,000 more than your earning. Okay, and that should be cleared immediately. So for that reason, there will be generation of a claim. So system will generate a claim saying your earning is less than your what you will say deductions. Okay. Sorry, sir, I just went wrong. So your deduction is more than your earning. Okay, suppose your deduction is say 12,000 US dollar, but your earning is 10,000 US dollar. Okay, so for that month, this will be a generated claim for that particular employee. So 2,000 US dollar actually that will be claimed. So this is a simple concept of claim. So we'll be discussing the exact definition and exact scenario, some of the additional scenarios of claim and how to process. I have already kept towards the end. I'll be discussing in the last session. I'll be discussing what are the advanced topic, and there are some few terminology. We'll be discussing that. Don't worry. So the next one is completing year-end adjustment. Okay, so that one we have already discussed in the last session, session number 3. How to do that using that PAUX, PAUI. Okay, how to clear those adjustments with appropriate those 4 types of subtypes we have discussed yesterday.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So that is already, that must be in place. So that is a prerequisite before we start your tax reporting. Okay. That is the 4th one. 5th one is checking the configuration using the menu path utilities. So what is that? We'll be seeing all those. Is there any part of the configuration related to this must be clear, but it should be means there are some configuration for tax reporting also. Okay, so even if
is that configuration coming from the notes?
Yes,
for
exactly.
For the year?
Your guess is correct. So this whatever TUBs we are talking about, right? Tax update bulletins for BSI and all, SAP releases those notes. Okay, so you have to ensure those configurations are maintained in the utilities. Utilities means the specific configuration node. So it should be updated. It is closely related to the first point which I have told you. those related to task support tags. Other than that, this minor configuration you have to do. So those configuration must be placed in your system. Otherwise, there will be little, maybe you'll be finding error while testing. You'll be finding any error. Okay, so this is one. The last one is another important one. Suppose if you are using any non-SAP system, okay, so you have to running the text report preparation step for employees transfer. Suppose if it is you are into a newly you just went live, and some of the employees are still you're in the old legacy system. Okay, you are moving them to the current system. Okay, so you must have those data, means those non-SAP related data. Okay, for those employees, you must transfer, means using your batch job or BDC or LSMW. Okay, so those data must be placed. So you have to take care of it as well. Suppose for you are going for new live go live project and all. So these are different checkpoints as a preparation work. Just I put it across in a single deck, okay, so that it will be helpful.
Okay.
Any questions there before we go ahead?
No, I know we'll go into details of this one, so I'm very interested to know how it's done.
Yes. We will go into detail so that you will understand. So once your preparation work is done, so as I was mentioning, there can be various type of reporting, text reporting. The most common one, quarterly report, that is your form 941, okay, which is a SUI or your means form 941 and state UI. There are two reports, so quarterly reports most frequently used, and 941 form is used to check the impact of claims clearing process for employees. Okay, so that there will be proper tax results. Suppose employee has, as in the previous example which I have told to you, there are 2000 dues from the employees, the claims would be generated. Suppose the employee is clearing that claim. Okay, so as a part of the claim clearing process, there it will impact your tax also, because even if it is small amount, $2000 US, so still it will impact in your tax related stuff. Okay, so form 941, what is it is used for? It will check. So just to check the impact of the claim clearing process on the tax purpose. Okay, so how you're just by definition, so you have to understand all of this concept, like which form is relevant for what. Okay, so like form 941, as I was mentioning, it will check the impact of a claim clearing process for a thing, for an how it is impacting your tax result, that will say. And there is another report for state unemployment insurance, that is simple one. So that anyway, this we will be seeing in our system, how this reports looks like and all. But this is a sample how it is. It's not very clear, but still I have taken in my very old deck which I prepared earlier. So this one is a simple how it's your 941 will look like. Okay, so this is one of the example of quarterly reports. So other than that, in the systems itself also you can see what are the different accumulations for those or related to that particular 941. What are the different quarterly accumulations and all that you'll be finding. This is how the screen will be looking like. Similarly, we have annual reports. So most frequently used annual report is a W2. Okay, so this will what it will tell. So it is relatively easy compared to other reports. Okay, so it will say you can run and verify all of your figure. If any correction is required, you will be doing those corrections. Okay, so these are most frequently used quarterly and annual reports. Anyway, I'll be showing you the system how it will be looking like. So this is one of the another W2 which I was talking about, right? W2 means wage and tax statement for annual. Okay, so you'll be seeing this kind of screens like for test run. You will be finding this kind of thing like employee copy, authority copy, magnetic media. So what is this? I'll be explaining one by one. Employee copy means how it will be as an employee, how it will be visible to you, that W2 statement. Okay, authority means for whatever tax authority you are submitting to it. Okay, so how it will be visible to them. So that kind of things you can test it. And generate magnetic tape copy means how in the system it will be stored. Okay, so this is an actually system stores it in a magnetic media, they call it. So it's a typical terminology, they use magnetic media. Okay, so here they will be trying to store all this information so that it can be transferred. So that is from an architecture point of view. But these are the three major things. Okay, whenever you are generating any wage and tax statement by going through this same transaction PU19, you will be finding all these features here. And once you are happy that everything is correct, all are verified, then you can run this Wayzn text statement for the production. Okay. So in this example, I have just chosen one employee, that is the same employee which I have hired 2 days back, that employee ID 73. But you can run for everyone, means for the entire organization you can run, and it will be automatically generated, this statement and all, and it will be appearing there in their employee central. Okay, SuccessFactors employee central, it will be visible, similar to the payslip, so they can see. Same way, this W2 statement also, it will be visible. Okay, anyway, as an admin, I can always come back to this on-premise system, and I can always download that for my point of view. Okay, but it will be generated and it will be sent to your employee central. So this is the way you will be seeing that these are a couple of reports which I have taken a screenshot from my system. Okay, and this is another point which I was talking about, the configuration check. Okay, so configuration check also, there is no check tool as such, but inside the PU19, if you go, okay, so there is a utility which I was talking about, right? As a prerequisite in the system. This is a point number, this one, checking the configuration using the menu path utilities. Okay, this is nothing but the same one. You do not have to go to any other configuration node. Single transaction, PU19. So that is actually the beauty of US payroll. I liked it. So in a single transaction, you do not have to remember multiple transactions for doing multiple things. Okay, so similarly, PU19, if you just go and PU19 itself, there is a button called More button. From that, you go Utilities, and from Utilities, you have a lot of options here. But if you, this is just prerequisite, just click Check Configuration before filing the text reporting for production. Okay, you just ensure if it is correct or not of your configuration. So it will if anything is missing at that point of time only, it will say there is an error. Please do this configuration, that configuration, or it will throw an error message. And from that error message, you have to identify what configuration is missing easily. Okay.
So does it come out in form of? It comes out in the form of a report. Do you know? If it's in the form of a report.
Not exactly a report the way we have seen the check tool. It is actually a message kind of. You'll be getting this thing is missing, that thing is missing. Okay, so that I will show you in the system if it is working fine, because I have not tested in the system which Sanmukha has given. So I just, this is screenshot is taken from my system. Okay, so for that reason actually it is very clear and crystal clear. It is fine. Okay, I'll just show you in the system, and once it is done, it will be looking like this. Okay, that log. Okay, so if there is any error, any configuration remark, you'll be finding in here in this log. It is similar to your payroll log. Okay, whenever you are running a payroll for a particular employee or for a group of employees, you get some kind of warning, error. Okay, all those log messages. Okay, similarly, we'll be getting this kind of text reporter log manager. Okay, and it will say this is type of reporting for W2, Wayzn text statement, and which tax company we are using. Tax company is US01, whatever the tax company you have chosen. For that, it will be these are the different issues you have in your. At present, I do not have any issues, so it will be clearing, means there will be no remarks here at all. So this is how a typical text reporter log manager should look like, and you have to remember this is a pre-check before you run any simulation or production run in the text reporting. You have to ensure this is one of the prerequisites. You have to very clear about it. If any configuration missing, then you will be getting any error. Okay. So the next one is regarding, this is another report which I was talking about, most frequently used, that is your SEY, that unemployment insurance. Okay. So here this will be looking like this. It's a monthly report. Okay. So if you have seen in the down section, there's a monthly SEY monthly based reporting. And for this example, I have chosen, means this employee belongs to Illinois. So for that region, it is showing tax authorities Illinois, and there are 3 options. Okay, like paper, magnetic tape, SAP script. Okay, so ideally we suggest to check all the 3 by default. Okay, suppose the employee wants that in a paper format or it is in a PDF format. Okay, you have to download, so you have to use the paper. SAP script means it is for internally for SAP purpose. And for magnetic strip means magnetic disk, it will store, and all this information will be captured inside your system. Okay, so it's not, there is no more technical in nature, but from your understanding or as an end user, you have to ensure everything is tick. All these 3 tick boxes are maintained whenever you are downloading or you are running for a particular run, for a test run or it is a production run. You have to ensure that. And same If you are choosing for multiple employees, then you have to choose the means all the employees. Otherwise, if it is for one employee, then you can choose that particular personal number. Okay, it's simple as that. So other than that, there are certain configurations. So there is a configuration that you'll be finding inside your. This is a path actually. I'll be updating in the headline. I'll be updating the sphere of path. But anyway, you'll be going to this US payroll. Then there is something called tax reporter. From that, you'll be finding all the configuration for your. These are the different configurations you'll be finding. But these are mostly standard, so you do not have to do much. Only thing is, wherever SAP comes up with some changes, you may have to come here and you have to change here as per the SAP note. Okay, and if the SAP note says you have to do it manually, you have to come here and do it manually. Or if it is via your S note, which I have discussed 2 days back, you have to run the transaction code S note, and from that you have to enter the note number which SAP has released. Then from that, automatically these nodes will be getting updated automatically. Okay, so through a wizard from that node. Otherwise, these are the different nodes for your tax reporting. You'll be finding the tax company is defined, the tax split parameters are defined, personal actions for transfer. All these are defined, but mostly these are because there are thousands of entries, so do not have to do it manually. Okay, so ideally it is released by note. And if any minor changes is required, then you have to come back, and any changes required, you can do it. But this is actually the configuration node for all of your tax reporter for US payroll.
Yeah, okay. But this is if I was just coming there for maybe a 3 or 4 month job, this has already been done, isn't it?
Yeah, mostly. Yeah, most probably.
I'm just there to help them process the year end and all that.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. But this is for a fresh implementation.
Yes. This is for a fresh implementation. Even for a fresh implementation, SAP model company these days they're releasing. So in those models already these things comes as pre-configured. You do not have to worry about it. Okay, these things already comes as pre-configured. Only thing is you may have to change some of the names or text depending upon your requirement. And another thing you'll be seeing because the waste types will be related to personal, or it is specific to the client, right? So in this section, you'll find there is a section called text form groups. Okay. In this text form groups, there are 2 lines. One is defined text form groups containing text waste types. Another one is non-text waste types. And this is actually where exactly we do certain configurations, it depending upon your client. There are certain waste types it is taxable, and there are certain waste types non-taxable. It is again very much specific to the client, right? It's not be universal true for US payroll. Okay. So in those cases, you have to come here in this configuration. You have to just identify what are the taxable waste types and what are the non-taxable waste types, and segregate that. And only those configuration you have to do as an implementation consultant, or in the future, if anything, any new waste type has been created or as per the requirement, and that is a taxable or non-taxable, you have to come here and you have to define those inside the tax grouping. Okay, so that your tax compliant will be fulfilled. So in this way, you can.
You know how, for instance, I think you were the one mentioning it, but it happens every year or every quarter, depending on the state of the economy. The government will say, for this year, we think people are earning more money, so we're going to increase the unemployment insurance, no, not the unemployment, the retirement insurance, retirement benefits. We're going to increase the average percentage from maybe 1.4% to 1.9%. Or things like in Canada, for instance, we have the Canadian pension, whereby every year they tell us what is the maximum, let's say 50,000. That is the maximum that can be taxed for pension. So this year it can be 48,000, but next year they say, oh, well, you know what? This year salaries were growing at about 3%, so we're going to increase it to 50,000. So, and apply a percentage of, say, 1.8. Assuming the percentage is 1.8 of 50,000, that's what people will contribute for the year. Where percentages of taxes are applied, do you know where it is done in the US? Where, like for instance, if somebody, if the state percentage for income tax is 7%, where is that maintained?
Okay, that I'll be coming to picture. Means it is a, you mean to say the contribution from the employer, both, or how is it?
There are both. There are both. It could be for pension, it can be employer and employee. And sometimes it can be in some places, in some pensions or some contributions, they are all employer paid, and some others are co-paid between employer and employee. And this can change from year to year, or even half year to half year. And,
okay, so Andy, I will coming to that. Okay, so that topic already in plan, but it is not directly related to tax. That is something else. Okay. So pension and some other topics. Okay, so that I think I need to revisit. It is already there.
That's fine, because it's one of those things that can also come with the notes.
Yes, yes. Those things are also very standard. Means for US and mostly in these big countries, SAP has already generally they release this for, because these are all statutory things, right? For all kind of statutory, if it is statutory changes, then we do not do anything of our own. Okay, whatever SAP
those are done directly.
Yes, yes. So SAP releases those.
So our role is to test it out just to make sure it's working.
Yeah, so definitely I will be just telling you, and towards the end also I'll be giving you what are the list of notes also you can use for the year, for this year 2020, 2019, 20, 2021. Okay, so these are the list of notes, and that list also gets updated every time. You have, even if I give you even next every 1 week, 2 week, because currently they are going through COVID-19. So this they have released a lot of notes. Again, something comes in the new next month or 2 months after, something new changes comes, again they will be updating. So I'll be sharing couple of link also, like those are not directly from SAP's note, rather some blogs. Okay, and there are some product experts from specific to US payroll, and there is a community also that I'll be explaining you in the last session of social learning. There is something you must be aware of, ASUZ, right? ASUZ, are you aware of?
AC what?
ASUZ.
ASUZ. No, I don't know that. Sorry.
That is a community in SAP US.
Okay.
So American SAP user group. Okay. So there is a dedicated SAP user group. In we have India. I mean SIG. We call it a special interest group, SIG. Okay. Specific for each and every country, those kind of groups are there. Those community, what they do generally, they conduct various sessions, varied orientation session, knowledge awareness session, time to time, and it is sponsored by mostly the local authorities or local who are the customers of the client, means SAP. So generally they promote their what are the success stories they share with the different people. Sometimes SAP also they comes together with those clients, and sometimes it happens in the universities as well to make an awareness of So those communities, even I am the member of ASUZ, I've registered, but mostly I have, as I'm in India, so mostly I attend those sessions virtually. In India, time to time I attend those sessions regularly. So those are local chapter, you can say, like any other company.
Are they online?
Yes, they are online. They conduct virtual for the last 6 months. I have not visited that website, but I will definitely share with you. You can register. The registration is free of cost. And for any kind of attending any kind of meetings and any kind of, they may charge some nominal thing, but those are very useful. And they will there will be expert people who will be from SAP as well as the different implementation partner. They will be sharing their knowledge. It's a very good knowledge sharing platform, specific for country specific. So there actually you can find anything is new coming up. Even if other than your SAP notes and all, how people have implemented, how other consultants are doing. Even you can meet to your other consultants who are working in other organization also. Recently, 1 year back, actually, I have attended. They call it different names, different time. We have something called SAP Inside Track. They have conducted in one of the major Tata consultancy service at TCS. They have conducted 1 year back. I visited their campus. And so they conduct those sessions are very interactive, and you will be, it's a full day, mostly it's a full day session or half day session depending upon that organizer. Those actually, this is the way people, I like those sessions other than studying something new, because you get to know the people, perspectives of different people or different consultants, how they are doing and all those things. It's a very good networking event also, I can say.
Yeah, I can see that. I just typed it in now and I can see it, and they're saying join us.
Yeah, exactly. You can join them.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's nice. Okay, I'll register tonight. I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So those things actually is good to know. Not only because many of the times we learn from others socially. Okay, so those learnings becomes more effective than studying something of your own.
Absolutely.
So I absolutely true. Means I'm a very fan of those social learning thing. I always try to nominate myself those kind of learning activities time to time. So they're very useful, and they have a more chapter wise. Worldwide, they have different chapters for different countries. They have different groups, and they're very active. Especially in US, I have seen many events they conduct time to time compared to India. So I have seen a very active. There is a community very active. You can participate in the new local chapter.
Okay.
So next one is I'll be coming to that. The which one I was talking about, text form groups. Okay, so text form group, what we'll do. So for different text groups, as I was telling to you, assignment of text waste types. So you have your own text specific waste type. Okay, so how you will be grouping them. Okay, so we have different kind of predefined grouping like withholding tax, earned income credit. Okay, so under this withholding tax, which are the waste types you have to choose. Okay, so what you will do, you have to just select that withholding tax and you just click this folder called assignment of tax waste types. Okay, then you will be coming to see. So these are the different tax grouping. Okay, for withholding tax. So these are the different assignment I have to do. Okay, so mostly these are again also standard one. Suppose is there any deviation or any client specific scenario, then you can choose all this which is not required and all these things. But this is more of a standard one. This is again how to adding those or assigning those tax waste types to your tax form group, withholding tax. Same is applicable for other types of tax form group like social security taxable or Medicare taxable, employer part and employee part and employer part. Okay, so there are different categories of grouping and all. So you'll be finding. So we'll be seeing in the system as well. Same is go for your evaluation. So how it will be evaluated. Okay, so depending upon your tax level. So as I was mentioning, the tax level, there are different types of tax level, whether it's a federal or it is your state or local or school. Okay, so depending upon that, depending upon your tax authorities. So tax authorities we have already discussed in the 3 days back. Tax CA. So it's just choosing those specific, and ideally it should be the end date 31/12/999 mostly, if there is any not changes. So these are different small tweaking you have to do in your configuration if it is really required. Otherwise, mostly this comes as a standard. Just you have to ensure these are correctly placed and all. So similar example I have given for employee social security, because these are most frequently used. Withholding tax, your employee social security taxable and tax. Okay, so these are the different things from a tax point of view, and similar things I have given it here. So once it is tax report, this is a simple of tax reporting. The next something is called tax service. Okay, what is a tax service? So in the US payroll, they have a different service available. It means there are some third-party vendor. Okay. Suppose if you're doing it for BSI or this kind of reporting, periodic or quarterly reporting, mostly these things we generate the file and we send it to the third party. So it can be tax service. Suppose if you're outsourcing, okay, in those cases, you may require to come this particular transaction. Okay, so that is a PC00M10 underscore OTUT. So this is a periodic or quarterly reporting, and there is another transaction for your yearly reporting. Okay. So what you usually do, it generally creates an IDOC. So IDOC, I have already discussed when I was discussing the EC payroll at that point of time. Anyway, IDOC will be coming into picture whenever we'll be discussing finance integration. I'll be going into detail of that. Okay. So what usually happens, so IDOC, as I was mentioning, it is nothing but intermediate document. Okay, so SAP generates this intermediate document from the system, and that IDOC can be sent to your third-party service provider via interface. Okay, so here comes into picture of there are different payroll interface. Okay, you may have to build, or there are some standard interface you have to use. Okay, so via that interface, this IDOCs will be passed, and to that third-party provider, tax service provider, you can interact with them. via this functionality. Okay, so this is an end from an end user point of view. This is how a typical transaction look like. Okay, so US tax services and periodic or quarterly report. Once you run this transaction, then it will generate the IDOC. Then it will ask like for which quarter you want, for which reporting year, and it will generate some document. Like it can be an XML document or can be an IDOC document. Then that document it will be sent to that. Once you run this program, it will be sent to that particular text provider or the third party outsourcing. Okay, and it will be via that particular interface it will go through. So but the interface point of view, you do not have to do much, because
what's the transaction code for this?
Because that is more technical in nature. Yeah.
What's the transaction code for this?
Yeah, so the transaction code, don't not worry. So it is always there in the system in the screenshot. PC00_M10 _ OTUT. OTUT, that is for periodic quarterly reporting. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is an end user transaction that will you'll be finding out inside your USA payroll, SAP user menu, USA outsourcing, because most of the things activities I have seen in US payroll, they outsource it. They do not take all this headache. So they generally put it outsource it, and for that reason they give this kind of transaction tax services. So it is also one of the unique thing in US payroll. In Indian payroll, I do not find such kind of thing are there, but in US payroll it is very unique to them. And this kind of transaction, if you use it, then you will be finding periodic all this reporting and group. And also there is a reconciliation also. There are 3 transactions you will be finding here. One is for reporting, periodic reporting. One is yearly reporting, and there is a transaction called OTUR. Okay, so reconciliation and all. So what I can do. So today I'll be sharing that SAP GUI access to you. You can explore all these transactions and all. So anyway, that reporting, that document also today immediately I'll send to you. You can go through all those tax reporting, whatever the standards are there, and that is an assignment for you as well. You just whatever the screenshot you take of whether that reporting, if it is working fine, you take the reports, screenshot and all. If any errors are obvious, because that is the sandbox system, many people are trying their hand, making their hands dirty, and they're trying lots of things. So there can be any error. Okay, so you just explore those reports, all the reports which I'll be sharing with you today. Okay. And with the next say I will not give a timeline, rather I will say 5 to 10 days take your time, because at the same time you are studying EC payroll as well. To take your time, and whenever you're getting time, just explore these reports. Okay, and if any issues or any queries, you just put me across, and I will be definitely happy to help you.
Okay.
So otherwise it is not possible to, there are more than some 50 reports to go through each and every individual reports to study. That is very time consuming. So I'll just go through this report whichever I'll be mentioning to you. So that is for all today from an your theoretical concept point of view. Now I'll be taking the system. Tomorrow we'll be starting the new topic, that is the BSI.
Oh, good.
So, yeah. So today, next let me go to the system and I will show you.
Okay.
So we have received the SAP Access. That is your.
Oh, you got it today?
Yeah, yesterday night only.
Yesterday night.
And I didn't try. This is also for the second time I'm logging in. Actually, I actually do the screenshot. For that reason, a screenshot I've taken in the afternoon, it means evening itself from my system. But I do not know whether this transaction, all of the transaction, it will be work or not. Transaction will work, but there will be not good data. Let me say. Let me log in. And that transaction, I couldn't find it yesterday, like which I was showing to you, right? That payroll, the step number 17, that is because this is a system who is exactly all the EC payroll. This is not a latest one. So for that reason, I couldn't find it in this system. But in your latest system, whenever you are getting a system, you just verify it. I've already given this screenshot from my web-based EC payroll system. You'll be finding check tool will be there. Inside the check tool, you'll be finding that. Okay. So that you can explore. Other than that, remaining transaction I will show you. That is the first transaction. That is a PU19. This is a single point for all of your tax reporting. So if I go to PU19,
oh wow,
you can see in the left-hand side there are different categories of tax form. As I was discussing, there are major 6 categories: quarterly corrections, annual corrections, and monthly. Okay, so in the monthly section you'll be finding like SUI, only one we have. SUI, your state insurance, unemployment insurance, that monthly based reporting. Okay, so for each and every report to work, you have to always select. There are different categories here. Tax company, there are so many tax company people have created. I do not know which one is the relevant one.
Yes.
So yeah, so let me choose the best one. Let me check. I don't know. Yeah, something is coming.
Okay.
So here you can see for monthly wage reporting. So tax authority, they have selected, they have already given for this tax company, Illinois, they have given. And there are multiple selections options also you'll be finding. So in these sections, multiple section, I'll just let me go through. Okay, so detailed sections, selections you'll be finding. And you have to, because you have only one here, I'll be seeing one. Otherwise, you have to choose multiple things here. Okay.
Yeah.
Other than that, there is something called, let me drag it little left. You'll be finding this is the three things I was talking about.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Magnetic media and the SAP script. So by default, it comes like magnetic, whether the output will be magnetic media or whether it is an employer copy of output. Paper means if you hover it around, you'll be seeing it is an employer copy of the output. Okay. SAP script means it is a text form of the employee copy. Okay? So it will be generated inside your SAP script, and it will run that script, and it will generate inside your system. Otherwise, if employee central is integrated, it will be generated and it will be visible there. And there is some small button. There is a configuration button here. You can change all the settings as you require. Okay, so anything current settings. Okay, you can
change on the form itself, is it?
Yes. So here you'll be finding all those things. Okay, and other than that, there is another button here. So, but here actually we have only one field, so that reason it is only one. Otherwise, you can select multiple or deselect all these things. You can explore it. Okay, so this is for production run, and same is goes for your test run also. You'll be finding similar screen, nothing different. But in test run, you'll be finding another one field, another extra, because for the test run generally we test one employee, two employees, like that, right? So for that reason, in the test selection, you'll be finding employee ID as well. Okay, but for production run, you do not have that options, because in production we run for everyone. Okay, so see, this is for monthly test run and all. Once it is done, and then you can see there is something called test online. Or it is a test background. The two options will be coming. Okay, for both of your production as well as, but for production you'll be finding another option like print copies. Okay,
is the background for running all the employees?
Yes. Background is generally this report will be running in the background. Okay, that's similar to your any background job in SAP. Okay. Otherwise, if you're running online, it will ask. It will be, suppose here it is giving some error. Okay, because the payroll area is not exit, because it's one of the conditions, right? You before doing all of these things, this is a very basic common understanding or common sense to your payroll area must be exited. Okay. Which payroll area is that? That is the payroll area SM. Okay, so in this way you'll be finding this kind of error, because as it is a sandbox system, you'll be finding many such errors. Okay, so that you'll be able to learn which error.
Is it better to check the online first before start doing any running, like background run? Or
yes. So generally we do it on the test run first. So as I have shown you, so first you have to run the test online. Okay, so test for one employee. Okay, so here you have to choose an employee ID as well. Otherwise it will not, because I do not know what is the employee IDs are there for US in this.
Yes, I know.
I do not know.
It's very difficult to even know who is in Illinois or something.
I do not know. I'm very new to the system. Okay, so I do not know which other things are there. Let me put a random thing. I'll just test it online. And sometimes what happens, there will be definitely will be finding an error, and this will be actually helpful to you understand these are the possible error we can real time you will be getting. Okay, if it is plain system and all, so you'll be finding this is similar to a payroll log only, right? The way we see in a payroll log. Okay, so if I go into detail of it, I can see. So this is the actually which I was talking about, that log manager.
Oh, okay.
Because this is the log manager which I've taken in the presentation, the screenshot I've taken. Okay, so at present there is no error as such. Okay, so in this, let me put it selection criteria. Okay, so selection criteria I have put it. Similarly, if I put it for information, so form number, they will say the form number is this one, control number is this one we have used, and if you'd like to take a print, take a print of it. Okay, so if it is configured, printer is configured, and you'll be getting. So this is the way you can verify the log, and this is the way there is another options also. No, not this one. Let me check. Yeah. So here exactly you can also do this analysis also, like any kind of performance. This is actually more from an ABAPer point of view. If any error comes, if it is not if it is a custom one, your ABAPer will be coming here and they will be debugging here. Okay.
So what is this? Because I've also seen this debug screen and debugging system, even for functional. What are we supposed to do? What does debugging really mean?
So when I say debugging screens or debugging ABAP, so mostly in most cases, not functional consultant, they do not take care of it. But this options is not restricted to ABAPer as well, because in my earlier days I used to do ABAP also. So for that, I could also run. Means you can see there is once a switch on, this will say debugging switch is on. Okay. Now I can go to those programs and I can do any kind of trace. Okay. And once I found out the error, root cause of that error, I can always come back and I can always switch off that debugger. Okay. So the way you can do and switch on and switch off all this. Okay, switch on. So, but it's not it for a functional. If you're a pure functional consultant, it's not recommended to use it.
Okay. Sure.
So this is the way actually we do for any kind of reporting. For now, it took me to the programming. Can you see that? So directly call that particular program. So now you can see calculate, put your F5 button and F4 button. You can play it around, and you can find out. It will take to this coding actually directly. In backend coding, it will take, and you can just trace of your wherever it is any error you're finding. But I'll not be going detail. Even I forgot all those things. Even for the last 4 or 5 years, I'm doing this coding.
Yeah, I will not try this one. Sorry.
This is actually to take you to the screen, and you do not have to. Okay. So let me go back.
Okay.
Stop transition.
Yeah.
Otherwise, let me go to the PU19 directly. Okay. So this is one of the way how you can run for different monthly run. I have told you. Okay. So similarly, same goes with
on the annual. What do they give you there? Do they give you steps, for instance, or what you should do? Are these like what are these? Are these like each step by step what you should do under each one? Is that what it is?
Okay. So I will tell you. Suppose I'll be going to focus on the most frequently used report, like form 941. I will explain you, and similarly for annual, I'll explain you W2. Okay, it's very similar. These are most frequently used. Otherwise, there are multiple things in the city level, state level that we are not going into detail, but you can explore all these things. Okay, but I'll be focusing on the report form 941 and W2. Okay, so let me show you something here. So I've already explained the test run and the production run, but now I'll be explaining something else. That is your generation and the form field definition part. I'll explain you. Okay. So consider payroll results up to say I'll say 3105 2020, and the test run. Suppose for this particular form, I'm running this test run.
Okay.
I think this is not configured properly. Okay, so for that reason it's not coming. Otherwise, you'll be finding it here only itself. Okay, so all these things you'll be finding. Let me go back. PU19. Okay, so partly let me go through some other report. Reporting. Otherwise, it may happen for this text company. It may not be working because I do not know the backend. What they have done.
The prior configurations are not there.
Yes, there's some prerequisites are not there. It may happen those latest notes, those prerequisites are not met. SAP notes are not applied.
Also, it could also mean that they are not even in 2020. They're probably in 2018 or 2016. Can you find that out from the info type 3?
Might be.
Which year are they? I mean, it depends because they might not even be in 2020.
That can be a reason. You are correct.
just to check the control record, see which year they are, whatever.
But control record also, I do not know which payroll area, because there are thousands of payroll area.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
That is the reason I'm not trying that. But anyway, I'll just explain the concept here. This is the way you will be going through generation of even extra, because this access I'll be giving to you. It is up to you. And you can, if it is not that, you can create your own payroll area. The way people are, other students are doing, you can create your own payroll area and you can try it, experiment it out. Okay. So you'll be basically generation of the filing date. So he will be generate the files here, and the form field definition, this is actually structure of the reports and all part of the defined fields. They will be putting it here. Okay, and same goes with your quarterly report also. If you are your annual reports. Okay, so inside your annual report, you will find there is a Vezent tax statement. This is the most frequent. So I think something is there for this. Okay, so if I go to W2 tax run, okay, for federal. So I will go to there. This was actually interesting, which I was talking about.
These are in 2018, as you can see.
Might be 2018. Okay. So you can see there are three categories of copy. One is employee copy, and it's magnetic media, and authority copy. So these are the three. There are different. You can see, like for if I'm choosing employee copy, it will say for which employee to which employee, and if it is a regular copy or it is a reissue, there are different kinds of copies you'll be finding it here, like reissue or correct employees with retroactive changes. Okay, force correction including personal numbers or post filing run. So there are different categories of options, whatever is applicable for you. Okay, that you'll be choosing here in the type of copy for personal number. Same goes with your magnetic media. Okay, suppose I'm choosing magnetic media. Okay, so here also you'll be finding similar options and all. Generating a magnetic media, magnetic tab, authority copies, you'll be finding all these options. Then after choosing all the selections, you have to test it online. Okay, once I choosing test it online, so it will say, let me check. I think I have to choose an employee number here.
Yeah, there's need for an employee number.
For an employee number, I have to choose which number? What number? I do not know which employee.
Probably thousands of people inside there.
Doing this, but this is the concept. But it will choose some personal number too. I do not know. Okay, somehow it will be putting some employee. And when we start test online, so it will test for that employee. Okay, so I think something is not working here. But we connected. But understanding concept is understanding your concept is very easy. Just you have to come here and you have to just test it online. The further steps, you find it out here. Any other things also I'll show you. But test online means it will test whether it is correct or not. All these things you will see it here. And test background means once you're happy and you can test it in the background. Okay, so you can run and execute. Okay, so once it is done, then you can come here. Okay, so this is actually the status it will say, which it was like audit trail. Okay, on which date, suppose if you have run it for 5 times, it will say this you have reported on so and so date, and it was a simulation run or it is a production run, test run or production run. That it will, the entire log you will be finding it here. Okay, the text form related the things and all. And the form field definition exactly, it is your it is for federal. Okay, so this form is specifically for federal. Okay, so the definition you'll be finding it here. It's nothing much in the third and fourth step. Other than that, generation, these 4 things also you can as it is this interface, you can also navigate to in this way also. This way you can navigate to test and production and all. And other than that, which I was talking about, the utilities. Okay, so before we run the tax reports and all, you have to come here, checking the configuration, right? So whether your configuration, now you will be seeing the exact what is the issue here. Okay, so if you go to the utilities, check configuration. So it will check configuration only for the W2 because I've selected the W2 Vezent text statement. Similarly, for all other tax forms, you go select individual tax form, you come to more options, then utilities, then check configuration. Once I check configuration, this kind of error will come. Okay, so these are actually, it can be data issue or it can be a configuration issues. Okay, so it will say there are no employees found in so and so tax area or tax company PC03. Okay, so from that information message, you can find it out why that tax company is missing, and accordingly you can hire an employee and accordingly you can put the tax company. Again, you can run it in an iterative way. You can do such kind of thing. Okay, because this access I'll be providing to you, and you can try it out whenever you are getting free. Okay, but this is the ideal way when you, before we running the text reporter final one, you'll be getting the report and you'll be finding this kind of message. Okay, so like it will say this is an that configuration is missing, and you'll be finding, which is a log. Okay. So this is overall how a text reporter works and how overall concept of text reporter. And I'll be sending you this file, this document which I have already latest one I have 17th of May only, yesterday only I have downloaded, and I have I'll be sharing this with you. There are around 92 pages, but do not go by the number of pages. There is very concept wise whatever I have explained, they have elaborated it in a more very detailed way. This concept remains the same, like payroll reporting. Okay, what are the different implementation consideration you have to take care? What are the different integration features? Even waste type reporter also they have included here, which is the standard one. I do not know why they have included in the. But waste type reporter also talks about the tax. There are different tax components you can see. For that reason, might be they have included the standard waste type reporter also inside your tax reporter. But it is nothing but a combination of different reporting. Okay, so which I was talking about the more frequently. That is 940, 941, Form W2. These are the three major one. Mostly I have worked. Okay, mostly. Yeah. Other than that, there are many other reports like W2C, 1099, R,
1099 is very important also.
The list is endless, means endless, but you have to understand the main important process and all. So this is actually from a process flow or architecture point of view. This is how it works. Okay, you will be seeing like this. IMG means your implementation, your guide, your SPRO. What are the configuration you have done? Okay, it will go, and once you run the payroll, it will store in this RT table. That is your this cylinder table RT, small cylinder payroll results. Then if there is any third-party remittance, it will go to that NSP field. Then accordingly, whatever the manual entries, it may happen you have manually entered some adjustment, like using that PAUX, PAUI, whichever you have discussed. Those entries also it will be even input to your this form or tab generator, you can say. So once you've maintained everything, it can be in paper form, which I was discussing. There are three categories of that: paper form, or is a status table, or it can be a magnetic tab. Okay, then it will go to your cluster table. Okay, as I was mentioning earlier in EC payroll, all these stores are stored in the PCL4 forms cluster. There is a PCL4 cluster table, that is a forms, all kind of forms are stored there. Okay, it will go and sit there, and finally it will be whatever, it will be table RT and third party remittance, the reporting it will. But this is a centralized architecture. Suppose you are going for an face-to-face interview and someone asks what is the typical architecture for a text reporter, then you can draw this diagram. Okay, because generally whenever I was taking the interview, actually I asked generally people to ask this kind of question. So this kind of questions they may ask, okay, for a text form generation point of this architecture and all.
Okay.
Other than that, this one they have defined how the text form group works. Okay, so whenever you're grouping a text group, suppose a W2 example they have given. Okay, so there will be waste types from different types of waste type. Okay, like /401 for text withholding tax, /701 that is for text withholding tax. Okay, similarly Q01 for withholding tax, but different waste types. So those are secondary waste types. How those waste types are grouped and text form grouped together, and how it is an input to your W2 form, like your W2 wasn't tax statement. You will be finding there those things. How to update those text form groups. This is generic they have given. Okay, but it is applicable whenever there is any changes in your. Okay, so there are different scenarios they have given. Like if the payroll area is US, but there is no tax company. Okay, if there is an tax company, but there is no payroll area. So what are the things you have to update? Which text form group? Okay, and these details. This is actually they have given a very generic way. But whenever SAP releases the note, all the knowledge-based article, they will be very specific. Like you go to there and update that table or update that configurations. Okay, so those things they will be giving. So do not worry about that. This is a generic document. It will be helpful for you in understanding. And the feature also, there are some inbuilt feature which I have not discussed, but this is a part of your normal payroll, normal US payroll features. You do not have to configure much here. Only these things, standard features comes. There are operations, what are the different operations available. Okay, if any customization is required, then you can do there. So this is a document which you can refer. An optimization option also they are given. Suppose some field is not, some form is not working or taking much time, okay, to load and all. So you can run time how to use those optimization concept also they have given, how to improve a batch job performance. Okay, so those concept also they have given. It is good to read, but
Yes.
in fact, I have never gone through all this entire document.
Yes.
Whatever is relevant for me, as and when required, I have to refer this document. This is good for reference, but not for reading each and every thing.
Sorry, I've made you to be reading all these things.
No, it's good for me also. Like I have understood some of the additional new things also. This is good for me.
What's a TEMSA file?
TEMSA file is actually that I will discuss in the advanced topic. TEMSA file means that whenever you're running this, generating these reports and all, it will generate a file. Okay, that's called a TEMSA file. But I will explain you in much detail. It is not explained here also in very detail. Okay. But I will definitely explain you in the advanced topic. I have already marked it. Okay, so in the text reporter configuration checkpoint, as I was mentioning, the checklist which I have given to you, on the top of that there are some authorization issues also. Like suppose you are not authorized to run a particular, not generate a particular file. Okay, so you have to check with your SAP basis consultant, like whether this TEMSA file is you are authorized to check or not, or any feature changes you are authorized or not. There are certain areas. So these are actually this text reporter configuration checker. What it will say, the error. Mostly this, if the product is if your implementation is not well, if not someone has not implemented properly, something is missing. So the error will be coming, the common error will be coming across these kind of. This is good for understanding for a if you're working for a support project in US payroll, or from a testing point of view also. Okay, so there are different scenarios. So these things you can keep in mind while designing your test script or any test payroll test. Okay, so there can be different types of issues under this different categories. Okay, so waste type sign reversal, correction form. Okay, sometimes suppose somebody has waste type configured, but the sign is negative. He has configured. Okay, even if you're putting positive, it is going negative. Okay, so these are the different cases of scenarios they have from their experience. SAP has put it across. So it is good to go.
It would be nice to know how to do some of these things.
Yeah, you have to do actually, definitely, even generating, how to generating this text form. Okay, so how to run those. So in this, while taking the printout, all this PDF, some of the arrow mark is missing here. So you just be careful about it. Okay, like they have given subsequent activities. Actually, there is an arrow mark here. Okay, so but it is came as a single line, but there is a gap. But that will be, you read it as a arrow mark there. Subsequent activities. Then you have to go to period independent. Then you go to the payroll supplement, then you go to the text reporter. Okay, so the same screenshot which I have taken in the slide. Okay, so they have not given the screenshot, but they have explained in a sentence. Okay, so for that reason, this is very lengthy and all, I believe.
It is.
They put a picture of that SAP user screen. It would be more. But this is the way they document it. So I would not have. So there are certain more additional things also which I have never used. This MMRE one. Okay, for some local reporting and all, locality for a particular local report, I never use. But if you're working for, you're getting an opportunity to work such kind of things. Okay, so it will be good to learn all these things. But I'll not be going into details of it because it's very lengthy report, lengthy. Third-party format, they have also given what are the different format. Okay, and they also mention the history of that form because they maintain all this log, right? They have mentioned like as of the year 2008, SAP supports this TEMSA layout. So basically, it's a TEMSA is nothing but a layout or different form fields, technical layout of that. If you're not authorized for that, then you will not be able to run this kind of thing. And for that, you need to check with your SAP basis consultant. So these are the different reports, forms you will be finding in this. Nothing much. And which I've already explained you in the system. Okay, like this one I've already explained to you. Employee copy, magnetic copy, but this is the old screen. I've shown you in my 2001 date I can see. Yeah, so this is how the text reports will looking like. So how this text report will function and all they have explained in this way. Okay, W2 third party, how for is there any scenario for terminated employees? If there is any employees terminated, what will be the scenarios for that? And for that they have mentioned already the SAP note. They have not explained very much. They have mentioned this note you refer, that note you refer. Okay, so for this kind of troubleshooting and all, you can always go here and you can find it here. This is how the online form it will be looking like for an employee. W2 WC in the employee self-service. They can download it from there. So this is how they will be looking like. It will looking like in their employee self-service. Okay. So all these details are there. You can go through all this. This is how the PDF form will looking like for a W2 whereas in text statement. So the log manager also we have discussed.
What are the contents of the main body of this form? Because I've never looked. Maybe I'll go online and check how a W2 form looks like.
Which one? Can you please come back?
I've seen they just provided the headings, but I wanted to see what's in the body of the tax W2 form. This one here.
Okay, this one, right? This one will be having ways, tips, and all different components of your W2 means the standard ways and text statement. You'll be finding your different amount, different wages, social security wages, federal income tax wages. It's very similar to the W2 you are downloading from your employee self-service. It is very similar to that. But it is an online form, because if you have chosen online PDF form, it will capture your data from PA30. The master data will be always from your PA30. So for that reason, you can see in this figure they are mentioning online PDF form PA30. So from PA30 you can see all these things. It will be hosted in your employee central or employee self-service, depending upon which you are using. Accordingly, this statement similar to your pay slip only, nothing much. This will be pay slip in employee central. If you remember, we have added a pay slip as a service. So pay slip is not an info type, rather pay slip is a service. Similarly, W2 statement is also a service. Whenever you are configuring in the payroll unified configuration, there you have to choose this one as a service based type statement. So this is the way you can go through and explore. This is how the typical log manager will be looking like, if there is any error and all. So they have explained here in this very detailed. You can go through this. And this document I'll be sharing you for the time being, but anyway I'll be aggregating all these things. And there are some compensation report also for workers, labor law related. All these report will be available in your system, and you can explore all this.
This is complicated.
This is complicated in the sense the volume is very high. Means it's not complicated, Andy. The thing is, you have to understand the definition of each report. That is what report is meant for what. That is one of the key things you have to understand. So whenever if the client is asking, I need this information, that information, but they do not know the report name. So in that case, helping them, like this is the report name you have to execute. So in this way you can help them, like claim processing. So this one actually I was giving an example. So what is a claim? They have explained very clear. You have asked, right, what is a claim? So same example they have given, like if an employee is overpaid or retroactively adjusting the overpayment, will carry forward to the current period. The same example which I was giving, they have also given here, reducing the amount of current pay and clearing the original overpaid amount. So if it is overpaid or underpaid accordingly. So or the second example they have given, however, if the employee doesn't have enough money in the current period, as I was giving an example of 10,000, 12,000, I have 10,000, but my loan is 12,000. So how I will pay, because I do not have enough money to the current period to cover the entire amount of the overpayment. So in that case, system will generate a claim. So this is the same example. They have very clearly, which I have explained through an example, they have explained it through a scenario. The same, you can, so if someone asks what is the claim, so we can explain them what is the claim and how SAP supports claim processing as well. But you have to understand, for any kind of doing tax reporting, you have to ensure all these claims should be cleared. If the system is having some kind of claim, you will not be able to run this tax reporting and all. System will be having checkpoint. So there is a report for that. So this is RPCLM SU0. This report you have to execute for any kind of claim processing. And there are again different categories: fully repaid, fully forgiven, partially forgiven. So this way you can access and all. And for new hire reporting also there is a report. For any kind of new onboarding, and it is as for a particular act. For US, there is something called Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Act of 1996. So do not worry about this act and all. If you have time, you can read it. But this every report, as I was mentioned here, it is federally from a federal government mandate, and also from your tax compliance or compliance point of view, statutory compliance point of view. So all these reports are given. So for that reason, you will be part of the different features, like as it will be complied to your statutory compliance. So they have specifically mentioned this report must have this field. So accordingly, SAP gives those reports. How to run those reports? They have given the path of there is a US compliance. It belongs to US compliance. There is something called new hire reporting. So this will be helpful whenever you are using onboarding. Whenever you are, suppose in case if you are using SuccessFactors onboarding, so you may happen like this report you may generate in SuccessFactors also, like you generate in the payroll, and you will send it to the SuccessFactors. Okay, in this way you can also use this. This report will be helpful for you.
Okay.
So there are n number of reports. So there is running a, even I do not know some of them. Okay, S9901 report of organization. I have not used this one. So this is another important report, HIPAA reporting. HIPAA reporting is actually for all kind of medical reporting. And what is in HIPAA? That is your Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Okay, there is an act for that. Suppose if you are moving from organization X to organization Y, so what will happen to your health insurance? Whether it is a portable or not portable. Okay. So depending upon that, there is a report for that as well in US. Okay. So how to run that HIPAA report, HIPP, HIAA report, and what is those things. Okay, you can run those. And there are reports for 401k also. So all the standard statutory report you can go through.
Okay.
There are a lot of actually. So ERISA 5500 testing, employee benefit plan. This is part of your benefit, employee benefit related to that related report. Okay. You can explore this as well. And there are certain features also they have given, like what are the different activities and what are the different, how to run this very detailed. This is the latest one I have downloaded. Earlier, whenever I was working in specific to US payroll, at that point of time, this documentation was not very clear. But now they have developed a lot actually in terms of documentations and all. So garnishment report, anyway, they put it here, but I'll be discussing much more into detail whenever I'll be discussing topic garnishment. After BSI, I'll be discussing garnishment. Okay. Sure. So this I will be discussing more into detail because this is one of the key report. There are three things actually: garnishment history, garnishment review, and garnishment statistics. And there are a couple of garnishment letters as well. How to generate all those things? What is the concept? We'll be discussing later on. Okay. So this is to summarize. This is actually the 92 pages. Actually covers everything all about your tax reporting, and this is more from a SAP point of view. If anything comes up in new, SAP will be releasing those notes and SAP will be creating those notes and all. But ideally, so all the statutory reports we do not create of our own. We have to check always with SAP. SAP generally 99% of time they will come up with new reports and they will all the standard reports, and you have to execute. You have to understand is there any prerequisites. Then those prerequisites only you have to configure. You have to ensure those are in place. Other than that, you do not have to worry much. Only thing is my advice to you is for all these reports, you have to understand the purpose of each and every report. At least you remember the definition. Okay, just I was mentioning HIPAA report. So if someone asks, you should know which report to use for health insurance portability. Okay, so you must ensure this report you are aware of. Okay, so these kind of questions a lot of questions can come whenever you're going for any interview or any kind of the client conversations. Okay. You can start your conversation using your if a technical sound in this because one of the key area reporting is one of the key area in payroll. Okay, so you have to be very careful and you have to understand all this concept very carefully. Okay, that's all for today's session. Andy, any questions?
Thank you so much. I have so much to read. My head is almost bursting. So, but I'm enjoying it. I have to. I have to get. I want to see if I can. You said for the ECP, the next phase would be June 1. Would be the beginning of the new year update here.
Yeah, exactly. It is the 5th of June to be precise. 5th of June 2020. They are actually releasing the new release, the production release for 1H 2020 edition. But that doesn't mean the certification will not be immediately released for that quarter, for this year, for this 1H 2020 edition. Certification will be again the old one, means the new, whatever the new additions they have done, do not worry, those questions will not come in the certification. It will be still in the Q4 2019. So generally what they do, please go ahead, Fani, you are asking something.
No, I just wanted to see if I can, I want to see, I want to see if I can do it in June.
Yeah, you can go for. What you can do, like the document which all in one, even if it is specific, even I actually prepared a slide for that I will be sharing with you shortly. The paging actually I have done yesterday, day before actually I was doing this paging. What indexing I was just doing. Just out of 3,000 document pages.
Wow, that's very good. Thank you.
So I will be adding this, I will be sharing it shortly. Just I will be verifying certain things. And I'll be adding those a couple of this QRZ that For ECP admin, I have already added like ECP admin job and quick reference guides for that. But for your HRS60, that is your ECP using P2P integrations, I had certain documents, but somehow forgot to add those in this document. Yesterday I realized when you asked this question, right? That configuration check, why it is not, means what is the meaning of that? I found it somewhere in my system, but it was in some other folder. So for that reason, I couldn't aggregate into this main one. So again, the page number will increase. So that bundle, again, I have to add it inside this document, and I'll be updating with you.
I came across one question that I wasn't sure whether it was supposed to be a certification question. The question is, if an error is in payroll processing, if an error is discovered at maybe at the monitoring or the validation stage?
No, one-click monitoring.
No. They're saying if a payroll process manager discovers an error, let's say almost at the end of the processing phase, and you do a reset, and it said what would be the logical next step for him to restart the payroll? Is that a certification question? Because it's a payroll process question.
Might be they have asked this question because this is a generic question. Okay.
Yeah.
So SAP actually they put a disclaimer in the certification. If you put see that kind of thing. All questions may not come. Means they may ask some common sense question as well. Okay.
Yeah.
To understand.
So I was kind of caught off guard. So today I decided to go and read payroll process.
Yeah.
But even there, I didn't quite find the answer.
You can send that question. Even I have not gone through all those details of that. You just put me in screen, take a screenshot of that question, and I will go through. Okay, where it is exactly, and I can guide you.
Because the answer they provided at the end, when I went to look at the answer, they said you have to go all the way to the beginning to restart the process. I wasn't sure that was correct, but anyway,
that might be wrong, because I was telling you before that. All the answers may not be correct 100%. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's all user-based. Because people who have appeared for those tests from their memory, they have aggregated together and put it across. So it may happen. It can be wrong also. Okay, so I need to verify, and we have to double check that. Just send me that, and I will take the question. And other than that, I will be also telling you, because as you know, for any kind of certification, they put questions from different criteria. There is a certain question based on knowledge, which are very straightforward, knowledge-based question. There can be questions from say application-based, or can be skill-based. Okay, if you are unless and until you are worked on that, you will not be able to 100% answer that. Okay, there is some more advanced knowledge-based question. So to make a certification, design the certification in such a way, there will be proportionate, proper ratio of these different categories: knowledge-based questions, application-based questions. So this can be application-based questions. So for that, okay, it's not only for this. For any kind of certification, to maintain the standard of that certification, they put such kind of questions. Otherwise, everybody will be certified and everybody will be. So for that reason, such kind of.
Absolutely.
Do not worry. Anyway, if your concept is 100% absolute correct, you will be able to, even if it is a guess, that will be correct one.
Yes.
From my
Okay. Thank you.
That's all for today, Andy. Thank you very much for your questions.
All right. Yeah. Take care.
Bye. Good night. Bye.
Yeah.